Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out People of Reddit. Story 1. Push everyone in the queue, time to trip over into them too. In high school, our canteen line was like a mosh pit. People squeezed up against each other with no room to move as a metal fence enforced the shape of the queue. Often there's be a group of guys who would just push others out of the way to get through. Every couple of minutes they'd let 5 or so students in to select their food. The mosh would move in a horrible, desperate way and then abruptly stop. Once I got pushed really hard and decided it was time to take action, but I was a shy, quiet kid, so it had to be covered. I looked down and noticed the ringleader who had pushed in front of me had one shoelace slightly untied. We were now waiting once more at a standstill, so I shifted my feet slightly to stand with all of my weight on that shoelace. When the queue next had its mad rush of trying to all surge forward, old mate Bully also lurched forwards. But sadly for him, little old me had accidentally held one of his feet back. He fell over and into several other students who also became fed up and insulted him for being so careless. He looked very embarrassed. Smiley face, oh upsie. Story 2. Cheat on me? Well, eat shit. I was dating this guy, we'll call him Trevor. Trevor was 21 and I was just turning 18. He was dating this girl I'd known through mutual friends for about 3 years. They broke up right before summer and suddenly he was in my DMs. He had an apartment with a roommate and I ended up staying over a lot. I even introduced my best friend to his roommate and they started dating. We all went on a road trip to California for a concert and went on double dates a lot. It really was a good summer. That August we got a puppy together. He already had an older dog and by then I was practically living at his place. His roommate eventually took issue with this, understandably so, but wanted me to pay a third of the rent. I objected that I would pitch in on my BF's half of rent because we shared the same space and I often was cleaning up after both of them on top of both dogs. Their lease was ending in another month or 2 at this point and his roommate ended up leaving early, without even cleaning his own space. Trevor and I signed a lease together, with one of his other buddies. Things were honestly going great until January. I get Facebook messages, from Alex. Mind you, we were friends on Facebook but I'd never actually spoken to or hung out with her. I had no desire to, considering Trevor cheated on his previous girlfriend with Alex. He made himself out to be the victim in this, essentially blaming his ex-girlfriend for him being lonely and seeking validation with someone else. This should have been a red flag, but I was so stupid and so smitten at the time. She basically says, keep your man in check, he's always hitting me up and I'm not about it. I was caught off guard and just said, for sure, I appreciate it. I called him at work and confronted him immediately. He didn't even try to deny it and I was so fucking mad. He was the first guy I had lived with and we had a 6-month-old puppy together. I had met his whole family and really liked his mom. The whole thing just felt devastating. Within the week I moved back home and took our puppy. Thankfully I was able to get him roommate to sign me off of the lease. I had to come back for a few things and went into our bathroom where I immediately noticed a hairbrush, toothbrush, and other female toiletries. Mind you, our roommate had his own bathroom was attached to our bedroom. Without a second thought I grabbed both of their toothbrushes and gave the toilet a good scrub. I left without saying a word. Fast forward a few weeks and he is begging me to take him back. I told him not only do I never want anything to do with him again, but that both of them had been brushing their teeth with shit. Not only did I dodge a major bullet by getting away from that douchebag with little collateral damage, I walked away with my wonderful dog Lucy, who just turned 8. Trevor actually DM'd me about 8 months ago out of the blue and said cheating on me was the biggest mistake and that he wanted to see me and Lucy. I told him that would not be happening ever and getting away from him was the best thing that ever happened to us. My standards went through the roof after this relationship and I would never settle for the shit I did when I was younger. Story 3. Remembered this and it made me chuckle. About 5 years ago, before we bought our house, my wife and I lived in an apartment complex that had biannual inspections. We were model tenants, especially compared to our neighborhood. The place was pretty strict, so we saw a lot of people over the years we lived there get evicted. My wife and I both work nights, so we were asleep during these inspections. We just locked our bedroom door and slept through them knowing everything was in order. The last one before we moved out had a handwritten bit on the standard notice of inspection stating that they absolutely needed to see inside the master bedroom. Okay. So we sleep during the day and had extreme blackout measures in our bedroom, all in accordance with lease rules, so for this one we left the door unlocked and I stuck my wife's suction cup dildo stuck to the wall next to the light switch. TLDR, apartment manager got a handful of rubber dick fumbling for the light switch only to find a perfectly compliant room with a naked couple sleeping. Story 4. How I scored 2 years of sweet high-speed cable for free in the 90s. Several years ago after a renovation we were awaiting cable internet connection. The local monopoly supplier, phone, cable internet, cable TV, were tardy with their appointments. You know the drill, a tech will arrive between 8 AM and 4 PM, please be home. So I stay home from work, wait all day and come 4 PM, no show. So I call up, wait on hold for 30-odd minutes. I am swiftly told the contractor will be there tomorrow and guess what? A tech will arrive between 8 AM and 4 PM, please be home. So I stay home again. No surprise, same deal for second appointment. So I call up and they book install for the following week. Third time luck, of course he is a no-show again. So I call up yet again to rebook. At the last minute I said, I have now taken 3 days off work, you should reimburse me for that, and now there is a 4th day. So they transfer me off to some other department for another long hold time. Eventually I get some lady explain all the deets and she say fair enough, a claim is due. She says, may I ask you rate? Me, sure, my rate is $6.80. Her, OMG, that's a lot of money for a day. Me, oh no, I am so sorry, you misunderstood. That's my hourly rate. Her, silence. Eventually. Okay, I think I need to transfer you to a more senior representative. Me, waiting on hold, guns loaded. Them, hello MR so and so. My name is something unmemorable. I am DHTE Director of Customer Service. I understand you are making a claim. Let me see. May I ask what job you have that has such a high rate? Me, why yes of course. I am a Queen's Counsel barrister specializing in corporate litigation. Her, silence. I am so sorry for your trouble. May I place you on hold for a moment? Me, of course. 5 minutes later. Her, again, we are so sorry. I have just got off the phone and out contractor will be there within 30 minutes. Me, okay, that's great, so what about my claim? Let me see, that is 3 days, 10 hours per day, $680/HR, let's just round it off, shall we? $20,000 it is. Her, silence. And then more silence. Eventually. May I place you on hold? On we went, and at the end of the call I had free cable internet, top speed, full package cable TV and my measly $29/month phone bill. I scored 2 years of sweet free cable just for some shoot from the hip BS to the complaints department. Was easy in the 90s and not sure if I could pull it off now. Story 5. The Pizza Man and His Revenge. First of all, I want to note that I am German and English is only my second language. Some parts of this story could have been written better in my native language, but I wanted to share it with you as I shared this in a different subreddit in German and someone asked me to do so because people here love this stuff. The beginning. In my house I have a very weird collection. A collection of shoe horns. You know what these are, right? Shoe stores have them, some people got them at home. They're those things that help you slip into your shoes easier, especially if they're very tight. Where I live, here in Germany, pretty much everyone has one of those. So yeah, I got quite a huge collection of these, but till here nothing is too weird, right? Well, let me tell you. Since about 8 years I have been working as a delivery guy for a huge pizza franchise, which name we leave out due to my own privacy. Also, we don't want to risk losing my job, in case people here love it so much it makes its rounds. Except for the majority of customers who usually are either neutral or friendly, you have some customers here and there who are just very unfriendly. Typical Karens or even worse. It didn't matter how friendly I was, how much I hurried and how hot the food still was, some people tend to see you as a piece of trash and push the responsibilities for any kind of mistakes made in their order to you as the guy who delivered it. As a pizza delivery guy, they expect you to be someone who hasn't finished school, took a wrong turn, and that's the best I could do, and they will make sure you feel that. Even with these kind of people I always treated with respect, smiled and made sure they will get the best possible customer service that I as the deliver guy can offer them. I have been insulted, screamed at, spat on, and people threw stuff at me that the kitchen personnel of our store messed up. And I still was as friendly as I could be. We also deliver anywhere, as long as you leave a comment on your order that explains where you are and it is within the radius of our delivery area. So I once drove a pizza out in the boonies and someone robbed me of my money. The culprit was never found. I still didn't quit and still was always friendly. I even had a customer getting so angry that they kicked me down the stairs, because they ordered 5 minutes before our store closes and my boss has asked me to nicely ask them if they could be so kind to order a few minutes earlier so we got more time to prepare their food and still can make it out on time and go home after a long day of work. This incident was about 5 years ago and it was the first time I lost my friendliness. I didn't took any damage because I was able to catch my fall by myself, and since I was already over time I just wanted to get back so I can go home. I also didn't wanted to get the police involved because that would have just taken more time and I would have had to prove somehow that I really was kicked down the stairs, for them to get any punishment. But something inside of me was longing for some kind of revenge, something that won't get me into a trouble but also give me a good feeling even if the customer will never notice. I stood there for a moment. The customer was back in his apartment, the door was closed. I could still hear him inside, angrily telling his partner how rude I was and how dare I told him that as his voice got quieter with every step he walked away from that door. After a few seconds I walked the stairs back up and there it was, a shoehorn. In Germany the hallways that connects multiple apartments often has closets where people store their shoes in. Especially in small towns that's very normal. On these closets they often have these shoehorns. The customer's shoehorn had a lot of marks from using it, so they were using this shoehorn a lot. I snatched it and as fast as I grabbed it I put it into the bag that used to carry the pizza to the customer before, so while walking downstairs no one else could see me walking down with a shoehorn. I walked fast-paced to my car, got in and drove back to the store. It felt good, a little bit of adrenaline pushed through my body as I stole something that seemed almost so useless but also so useful at the same time. For me this was breaking point. From now on whenever someone treated me wrong, got mean, insulted me or tried worse I would just wait till they closed their door with my smile on my face. Then as they closed the door I walked away at first and slowly snuck back to the door stealing their shoehorns. I want to mention that not tipping me is not considered an unfriendly behavior. It's very normal in Germany to not get tips, even though we work on minimum wage. Some of our customers ordered again after I stole their shoehorn and they were just unfriendly again. By that time they usually had their old shoehorn that I stole already replaced with a new one. I can tell you, the thrill you get when you steal a shoehorn from the same person a second time is something very special, and every time I stole someone's shoehorn it always filled me with a satisfying feeling of well-deserved revenge. Right now I'm storing about 40 different shoehorns. I got them in all shapes and materials. I got short ones, medium ones, long ones. Some made of wood, some plastic, some metal. I even have some for seasonal and festive opportunities like Christmas, fall, spring, different engravings. One even says the name of the family I stole it from on it. Now whenever a friend moves together with a partner or they move into a new apartment or even a house, whenever someone has birthday that I know and on Christmas I give away these shoehorns as a funny gift. My friends don't know where these shoehorns come from, they all just accepted that this is the funny way of how I gift them something, usually accompanied by an actual gift. Even my wife doesn't know where these shoehorns come from. She just thinks I know a store that sells those, I guess. I keep them hidden in my garage above the door in a small shelf. There would never be a reason for her to look up there. I've been doing it since 5 years and have never been caught. Even when I delivered to the person I stole 2 horns from again, they would not show any reaction that they noticed it was me. I think they tend to blame their neighbors. So this is how I get my revenge on people who don't seem to acknowledge the hard work of us small delivery men/women. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.